recognize Niki. Niki, I had the honor of working with Niki many years ago when I first moved to New York. She was and still is a rock star to me. I thought you'd like that. I worked with Niki on her large sculptures, bending and knotting wire. Hour after hour, we knotted and twisted the wire with pliers. The energy and fun that we had was fantastic. And as I sat down last night to write this message to all of you, I realized the impact that this experience had on my own art and art that you see today. Like Niki, my work tends to involve elaborate repetition and processes that relate to women's work.
Well, this is an early sculpture that I made, and I've made quite a few of black wire like this. And what they were really doing was imitating the drawn line. I would do a scribble, just not thinking of anything in particular. And just like Mary, there would sometimes be a shape in there that would seem meaningful for some reason that I can't say in words. I don't know why. And then I would make the drawing a little more precise, and sometimes I would try to build it. And so I ended up doing this. I started as a painter, and it's very funny what you said, because I was a painter and I painted very meticulously, and I decided one day that I was going to be more like an abstract expressionist, and I took a huge piece of paper, put it up on the wall, picked up a big brush and a pail of paint, and started going out of this, and within 5 minutes I had that brush in my left hand, and I had a size 0 brush, and it's sort of why I like to build sculptures out of small elements, because I can control every part of it. And the way this is made is that I have dowels that I wind the wire around, cut pieces about this big, wind them around. I have fencing or chicken wire underneath, and then attach them with the needle nose plier, overlap them, and it's aluminum wire most of the time, and then spray painted black. This is called Seed of Hope. That's the Seed of Hope up there. Well, it has a flower too, because aesthetically it looked good with the Seed of Hope.
Thank you. Okay.
And I had a gallery in New York where I had one-person shows about every 2 years. So I would make work that fit into a certain theme for each show. And one of the themes was called Sculpture for Home Use. And these were things that could be seen as sculptures, as toys, or as something to be used in the home, even if it wasn't used in a traditional sense. So I call this one, you'll never guess what, Little Lamp. Because it's little and because it's a lamp. But when it's not lit, it's simply a sculpture. I don't use any fine materials. I don't use marble. I don't use ceramics. I don't use anything like that. This is aluminum window screening that I pleated. And the top is just this frayed. Just took a needle and just pulled out the threads. This was this color aluminum screening. And inside, what it's made of is tube lighting. They're just put into a cylinder. And what happened was, I was a painter and I was carrying a small pad on the train. I was going to make quick sketches of people. And I was in the city looking at shows, and I went to see a Martin Puryear show. And I said, boy, I wonder what it would be like if I just drew a shape. And so with a ballpoint pen, I started drawing shapes like this. And I brought them home and showed my husband. I said, what do you think? He said, I think you should make them a little bigger. So I did, and then I decided to try to build one. Well, I had never studied sculpture in any way. So the first sculpture I tried to make, I did with string dipped in Elmer's glue, and that didn't look too impressive. And he said, why don't you try a little wire? Which I did. And gradually I started getting wire delivered in huge, huge drums of wire as I started making larger sculptures. And he helped, my husband's an engineer, he helped me figure out the structure to make these things stand up.
When I first thought of Niki, and I thought, oh, I can't use Niki because she does outdoor sculpture, big outdoor sculpture. And then I remembered at someone's house seeing your resignations. So I thought, I'll call and go over. And I saw Little Lamb, and I thought it was pretty good, pretty smart. And I thought that will fit in the gallery. And a seed of hope is really, that's what we want. We need hope. So that's what led me there.
Yeah, I'm not imitating nature or trying to work with nature. It's more about the texture of my daily life and my daily thoughts and my daily emotions. That's really what it's about.
Tell us about resonations as we...
The resonations are, we'll walk over in a minute, but basically I start with a 12 by 12 inch canvas and often take a photograph with my camera and paste the photograph onto the canvas and add other things. Just, I have all kinds of stuff. You know, I have threads, I have wires, I have beads, I have buttons, I have all kinds of stuff, and that's my palette. I spread it out and I just work intuitively. When you make a sculpture, like as Mary said, it's very time consuming and very labor intensive. And so to make something small that I can do just without much planning ahead, just work intuitively, is a nice change in making the sculptures. They don't look like a painting, they look like something different. And everything catches my eye. This is a photograph of the light in the ceiling of a walk-in closet.
It's true to the eclipse.
Yeah, it does.
It had a glow when I took the picture. So I enhanced it a little on the computer and then when it looked kind of like it needed something to float around it, and added these wires. This one was, we bought some new glasses, and for some reason the water in the glass bubbled up. So I was looking at the bubbles, and I took a photograph of that.
Wow.
And enhanced the color again on the computer. And then when I was looking at the buttons, I thought, boy, if I fill the holes of the buttons, it'll look just like the bubbles.
Right.
So that's how that evolved. And this is the surface of the water down near the beach. And I happened to have some styrofoam sitting around in my studio, and I thought, well, foam, you know, it's not water foam, it's styrofoam. Why not?
Yeah.
And then so the way I work is I add all this, and then I pour this art resin. It's 2 parts. You mix it together for 3 minutes. You have to get this level if you want, so that it doesn't fall off one end. And then it takes 24 hours to dry, and makes them indestructible, which is really great. So that's the relationship of the sculpture with the 2-dimensional things too, because it allows me to work differently.
Right.
Working in like the big 3D mode,
No, I still do it.
you still, okay.
Yeah, I have some sculptures. I mean, actually, the only ones that had specific content was I made 2 having to do with COVID, during COVID. I mean, one thing is that you're lucky if you're an artist. I was never bored during COVID. I simply went into my studio.
Right.
It's something you can always do.